Hi and good morning. I hope everyone is well and thank you for joining me this morning. Um, Bear with me while I'm just trying to get my screen sorted. There we go. Welcome to day one of my 3-day cake business bootcamp um, called Elevate Your Cake Business. I'm hoping I can help you over the next 3 days. Um, so feel free to say hi in the chat. You don't need your microphone or your camera on for this session, and I'll open it up to questions at some point as well. I'm just going to make sure that everyone is here and in. So I'll start off by introducing myself. So for those of you that don't know me, thank you for coming along. If you do, again, thank you. But I'm Prissy. I'm a cake business coach, and I also own Primrose Cakes based in Suffolk in the UK. I have been running my cake business for 8 years, almost 9 actually. I think I'm registered now. And I was also a teacher for 13 years, leaving last year to be more present for my family, but also run my cake business full time and start my coaching business too, which is really exciting. So I run the Cake Business Lounge, and I also have the Cake Pro Academy, which is the online business membership that I run. Over the next 3 days, I'm going to go through. Today is pricing and profit for growth. Day 2 is attracting your ideal clients. And day 3 is building your confidence. So I'm hoping you'll find at least one of these days really, really useful. So today's goals. Hopefully by the end of these 30 minutes, you are going to understand your costs, all of your costs. You are going to value your time and your expertise. And you're going to set prices confidently to ensure you start making a profit. We want your business, your cake business, to be viable and worthwhile. So I'm going to start with, why is pricing so important? One, we need to ensure there's profitability. There is no point in running a business if you're not going to make some form of profit, and there's more on that shortly. You need to make sure that you are paying yourself a reasonable wage, especially if you are looking to push your business to be full-time, drop your day job, or it already is your full-time wage. You want to make sure that you are getting a reasonable wage for that. The cost of living seems to continually going up, so we obviously need to keep that in mind. We want to make sure that we are attracting the right clients. A lot more on that tomorrow, but we need to also make sure that your pricing reflects your value, your quality of work, and your reputation. Everything all needs to match in. So my question to you is, do you know all your costs? If you were to sit down and write down a list of all the costs you had within your business, would you be able to identify them all really quickly, or would it take you a little while to identify them? I've got a list here, which isn't exhaustive, but it's something to get you started, and maybe there's some here that you didn't think of. So to create your cake, you need ingredients. You need the equipment, the supplies, the boxes, the boards, the ribbons, stationery, maybe there's stickers. You need the cleaning supplies. You need to advertise your business. You need to get the word out there. So all your marketing materials, your business cards, your flyers, any ads you might be doing on social media. To be a registered business, you need your hygiene certificate. You might have subscriptions for specific courses. You are using your phones, your internet to communicate with customers and also with your marketing. You might outsource your brand design, your accounting, and then you might have market stalls or wedding fairs that you want to do to, again, advertise or sell your goods. All of these things are taking up your time as well. So bearing in mind that we are using time for baking, decorating, designing. You need to spend the time actually putting them all together and creating that cake. So you have all of your admin, whether you are replying to an email or just talking to another supplier, you're updating your website. You've got your training, you're all sitting here with me today watching this. So you're already taking up time to learn about something new to help you within your business. You've got travel for deliveries, you're shopping, and we can all charge this within our business. It is really important to value your time. So at some point, you need to sit down and think about what it is that you are doing for a particular order or within your business, and you need to be getting paid for that. So calculate each or how long each cake takes to make. You can record this time when you're creating your orders over the next few weeks. Write down how long it takes you to bake, fill, coat, decorate, how long you spent on an email for that particular order, or ringing customers or ordering supplies. All of that sort of stuff. Write a little list and start recording your time. And then you can see how long it's taking you for each of those orders, and hopefully you're getting paid enough for that. You need to set an hourly rate that reflects your skill and your experience. Bear with me a second while I just get myself organized here, sorry. Bear with me, there is. Okay. So just talking about setting an hourly rate that reflects your skill and your experience. So even if you've only been running your business for a couple of years, you may still have very high skills and knowledge and experience that you can charge a reasonable wage for. An example here, so we're looking at the UK minimum wage at the moment is £11.44 per hour. I believe that's going up soon. If you take an order that you know is going to take you 10 hours to create from start to finish, including all of your time in communication and shopping and all that, at just £11.44 per hour is the minimum wage, you would still need to charge £114.40 for your wages. So hopefully that just gives you a little bit of an insight to where we're going with this. And there's going to be quite a chunk of what you're charging for your cakes that's going to go towards you and your wages. And I really hope that you are considering at least minimum wage, but as I say in the next slide, a cake maker and decorator is a skilled trade, so you should be charging more than minimum wage. Just going to see if there's any questions. So feel free to put any questions in the chat if you've got them. So when we look at why a cake maker and a decorator is a skilled trade, you have got technical skills. It's not something that everyone can learn about. We've got certification, insurance, food hygiene. Some people do like to be called a cake designer or a cake artist. You are absolutely either of those. Sometimes we have the term cake maker. That is also okay, but it's important to know that you are just more than someone that just makes a cake. You do a lot more than just that. You've got a high level of creativity. You do need to know about food science. You are getting a bunch of ingredients and you're putting them together and you are creating something that tastes good. So you do need to have a high level of skill to create a cake and decorate it. Mention a little bit about food hygiene certification, but your food safety knowledge has to be really high. And then you've got public liability. So that's why we have our insurance, because we are serving the public. We need to make sure that we've got enough skills and knowledge to be able to serve them safely. So although some of these aren't going to be directly related to cake making, I just thought I'd show you the average wage for other skilled trades. So the first one is closely related. So a pastry chef gets paid £14 to £20 per hour. I'm sure in a lot of the more high-end restaurants, it could be a lot more than this. Carpenter gets £18, electrician 20 to 35, mechanic 25 to 60, and a painter and decorator £24 an hour. So I want you to question yourself whether, if you've ever worked out how much you are getting paid per hour, whether you are at least meeting minimum wage, or are you actually giving yourself that extra because you are a skilled trade and you have the skills to be paid more? So I'm just keeping an eye on the comments here. Oh, Heidi. Yeah, absolutely. So not everyone can bake or decorate. It is. And some people are self-taught. I am self-taught. I didn't do any courses until in my recent years, so the last sort of 4 or 5 years since COVID, really, where I actually started paying people to teach me how to do sugar flowers and things like that. But when you've got someone that is self-taught, you've still got a skill that someone else hasn't learnt about. So it is specialist, and we really need to see that. So I want to talk about profit margins. Okay. Um, Profit margins are going to help your business grow. It leads to a sustainable business. Um, Guidance is based on sort of business education is that 10% of the profit margin is considered a good margin and 20% is considered a healthy margin. It is still very individual to you. So it's something that you really do need to sit down and consider, okay, how much profit do I need to make in my business to be able to grow? And it's not going to be the same as everyone else. It's not going to be the same as any other trade. It's not going to be the same as the cake maker down the road or the cake maker in a different country. Um, Things that you might want to consider for what your profits can go on, you could just have general savings. It might be that you want to save up for something personal as such, but ideally you want those to also go back into your business. Equipment and tools is really important. They're probably one of the most expensive things that we have to buy. A good example for me is that I've only just recently bought, that was just the end of last year, one of the fondant rollers. They're not cheap, but I'd had enough profits over time that I could buy that with ease. So it might be that you're aiming for a particular type of equipment. It might be a new mixer. And also don't forget that sometimes our equipment will break down eventually. So your ovens, your mixers, the bigger items that you might want to save up for, the profits is what you can use. Updating your work areas. Maybe you need a new kitchen, or you want to build a like a cake studio in your back garden, or convert your garage, things like that. Future premises. Expanding your business into different areas. So not just baking cakes. Maybe you want to work on creating tools and innovative things like that. It might be that you want to have a look at employing staff in the future. So having those good profit margins means that you've then got that pot of money to spend it back into your business if need be, if you need it. It's also really important as well to consider what have you got sitting behind your business. Should you become unwell or unable to work? So if you need to give out refunds, for instance, or you have a period of time where you're not able to work, so that profit can then be your fallback. So it's really important. There's lots of things that you can use it for, but it's definitely important to let your business grow. Now, something that I also want to move on to here is about mindset. So I'll put this question out here. Sorry, I can't actually see how many people are here at the moment. But how do you feel about the prices you currently charge? If anyone is there and would like to type it in, I did choose some words. So maybe you're happy, maybe you panic about the prices you charge. Are you comfortable, embarrassed, unsure? Would you like a little bit more? Are you scared about those prices? Could they be higher, or are they about right? So if anyone is there, please do pop it in the chat. So I can make a bit of space there. Dee, you're finally happy. Are you happy to share with us why you're finally happy? What is it that you've actually sort of figured out or discovered that makes you happy about your prices now? Still get nervous sending quotes though. Yes, even I do. No, it's I think sometimes, if especially if it's a new customer, this is my personal experience, but if it's a new customer, which for me it is because I'm weddings only, so I don't get repeat customers. Um, so every time I send out a quote, I'm always like, oh, is that what they're expecting? And I always have that little doubt. But um, the more you build up that confidence is definitely one of the things. Sorry, I'm just reading the comment now. So spent time working out my wage per hour and adding profit up. Good. Yeah, absolutely. I think these are the two main important things which people are probably already getting the gist of here. Um, Paying yourself a decent wage because you deserve it, and adding that profit make your business worthwhile. Absolutely. With me, my notes have just disappeared. Um, does anyone in here feel like they undercharge? Obviously, Dee, you feel quite happy with yours now, which is great to hear. Is anyone here that feels like they undercharge? And I know in the past I have definitely undercharged, which I have many reasons to say why. Is there anyone here that feels like they undercharge? I don't see anyone commenting yet. I'll keep an eye on it. Um, just popped up. So I used to undercharge, didn't value my time. Yeah, which you're now doing, D, which is great. I love that. Have done, yes, but recent quote, no. Okay, good. So some of the things that I've sort of read in Facebook groups or spoken to people about, and I know that I've said a couple of these myself over time, um, is other bakers in my area charge the same. I am not good enough. Clients in my area won't pay that much. It's not my main job. I need more experience. And another one which shocked me was I don't have enough followers, which I don't really know what that meant, but just remember that you don't need to have a certain amount of followers or even a certain amount of orders per month or per day to make you feel like you have to charge any less. So, like, it's not my main job. I used to say that. I was a teacher. That was my main wage. It paid all the bills. This was, my sideline. And I thought, well, it doesn't matter if I don't earn that much because I don't need that money. It was, it was a nice little cash pot that I could have at any given point. Obviously now it is my main job, so I need to make sure that I'm getting paid enough. You don't need to consider what other people are doing in your area, other bakers, because it could be that they're also not charging enough. So it's all about your personal outgoings and what you need to earn, and to make sure that you're charging what your business needs. So a few common pricing mistakes that I can list here. Undercharging for your time, that's come up already. Not recognizing or ignoring your hidden costs, and also comparing your price to others. So, oh, sorry, I keep getting notifications here and there. I'll come back to the chat in just a second. So when you're not recognizing or ignoring your hidden costs, all those times that you're coming onto your emails, replying to messages, you're sitting and researching about designs, you are ordering things, you're looking up techniques, equipment, you're sitting in a Facebook group and you're asking questions. This is all part of that order. So you should be paid for that time. Admittedly, yeah, there's probably a few half an hour or an hour here and there every order that I don't get paid for. Because it might be that I've gone into a bit of a rabbit hole and started looking at, something that actually wasn't relevant in the end. But within reason, we need to know how long we're spending on all the elements of an order and then getting paid for that time. I find so many cake makers are comparing prices to others. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that completely, but the main point I'm trying to put across is that pricing for your own business is very personal calculation. So, as I just said a moment ago, it's what you need to earn, it's the profit you need to make, and all the costs that you need to cover. And I know that a lot of us, we don't want to be the most expensive or too expensive. We don't want to necessarily lose those clients, but we also don't want to be the cheapest. And actually, if other people in the area are charging either a lot higher or a lot lower than you, it might be that you are in the right ballpark, but also think about who you're aiming your products to and your cakes. So again, that's what we're going to look at tomorrow with attracting the ideal client. I'm going to come back here. So Dee said there's clients for everyone. Saw someone wanting to reduce her prices because of another local baker. Yeah, that's an absolute no from me. So yeah, don't do that. Basically, there is enough clients for everyone. And I know in my personal experience, when I've put my prices up and a considerable amount too, I've still sold products, still sold cakes. So there's nothing going to stop you if you end up changing your prices. Yes, you're going to lose some clients, but you're always going to gain some more. And there's definitely clients for everyone. I really do agree with that. So, I was just going to say this. Yeah, your business is unique, so you don't need to follow the same business model as others. So don't feel like everyone has to be the same. Not every shop, not every cafe, not any other. All the builders, plumbers, they're not all the same prices because they've got their own individual costs as well. This is the basic formula that I use for or that I teach for people to use. Obviously, it goes into a lot more depth and detail than this, but basically, you've got your cost of all your supplies plus your labor, which should be all of your time plus times by your hourly wage, and then you've got your overheads. We do need to put a profit in there somewhere, which I'll explain in a second. But that should be your order price. So within reason, that is a good basic starting point. As an example, if all of your supplies are costing £15 and it's taking you 5 hours at £15 an hour to create that particular order, that's £75 that goes in your pocket for your wages for that order. Now, I actually add profit onto my supplies and my labor only. Some people do it overall. That is completely up to you and how you run your business. So 15% profit. I've gone in the middle of the good and the can't remember what the other word was now. But so it comes out at £26.25. My overheads for that particular order was £20, and which meant that order is going to be £136.25. So obviously this is a very basic breakdown, but a really good way of getting started before you then start diving into all the tiny little details. And using something like a spreadsheet is really good if you're good with numbers, or if you're not, because obviously you can put some formulas and things in there, which is what I do. Numbers is not my strong point, admittedly. And I always get someone to double check my figures, because otherwise they just go round in my head over and over. But yeah, starting something where you've got all your ingredients listed down, all your supplies, how much they cost, and then start working out and recording how long it takes you to do each step of your order, how long you're spending on things like the admin side. And then for every order, you've got a good sort of view of what you should be charging. So, bear with me, sorry, I've got notes here and I seem to have slowed down. Oh yeah, just check see if there's any questions as well. Yeah. Oh, we're all good. So I'm also good on time as well. So I'll just show you a couple of examples of two cakes that I've done, and I've costed them, rounded up a little bit, but costed them so that you can see how it works out for me. Obviously, like I say, it's a personal thing. Does anyone in the chat want to take a guess at how much I charged for this particular wedding cake? I can tell you it was a 6, 8, and 10-inch, 3 different flavors. I didn't purchase the topper or the log stand or the menu. It was just the flowers that I applied. I don't know if anyone wants to, I'll say take a guess, but what would be their sort of ballpark figure if you're willing to share. Obviously, that's not something you have to. Again, I can't see how many people are still here, so. But basically, this was £617. So breaking down my costs, this is including my wages as well. So I've got £387, which went towards the cake. That included the stacking and the fresh flower application. I didn't buy the flowers, they from a florist. It's just the application I've charged for. There's no delivery fee included in this either. Which again, if you're doing delivery, always charge for your time to get there and back, and also the time that you are at that particular venue. So you can look at the timings. So I do a minimum of an hour delivery because most of the time I'm there for an hour. If I know the design is a bit more complicated and I've got more flowers to add, then I might do an hour and a half or whatever is going to be suitable. Now on weddings only, so it might be different for some of you that are watching, but as part of every wedding order, I charge £163, which covers the costs of samples, consultation, and my average admin time for the whole order. Now, it's not until consultation that I then know how long it's going to take me to create their design and research it and buy things for it. I may then add on a little bit more admin time costs to their invoice after I've had consultation with them. And then I have £67 overheads on every order, which covers all my overheads, all my little hidden costs, which I average out per order across the year based on how many orders that I aim for each year as well. So I have an amount of orders as a goal for each year to ensure that I'm getting the amount of income that I need. And then for this one, admittedly, this was for a photo shoot, but I have costed it up. So 756 for the cake, including the faux separator in the middle. £60 for the decoration. They were really quick, just ruffles on a piece of wire. So if there were sugar flowers, that would be considerably more. Again, the 163 for the samples consultation and the average admin time, and then the 67 overhead, so coming out at just over £1,000. So obviously, in my book, it's all individual costs for all the different ingredients and supplies and things I'm going to need, and this is just broken down so that you can see how I've then worked it out to get that particular order. So I hope that has been useful. Other things to consider: prices for supplies are changing daily, so make sure you are reviewing your costs regularly. I used to do it twice a year. I've now started doing at least 4 times a year because the butter and the chocolate, my goodness, they are just going up and up, aren't they, at the moment? If you use a spreadsheet for your costings, you can easily update it without recalculating the whole thing. And don't forget to increase your hourly rate as your experience, skills, and expertise grow. So each year, give yourself an extra few quid. It doesn't hurt, especially if you've learned a lot more in the last 12 months. So just a quick recap before I finish today. All the different costs, we've looked at all the different costs that need to be identified and included in your pricing, how to value your time and ensure that you are getting a reasonable wage that is above minimum wage or more because you are a skilled trade, why profits are important to allow your business to grow and be sustainable, and where you can spend your profits in your business. And we've looked at common pricing mistakes, a starting formula, and I hope that you go away today with some further knowledge on how to price your cakes and the confidence and with the confidence to charge appropriately. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I've just had a little check. There's no other questions in the chat at the moment, but if you do have any questions, please feel free to email me or put me a message, or if you're in my group, pop a post in there. Double check it, no, nothing there at the moment. I am going to be going through attracting your ideal clients tomorrow. So we're going to learn how to identify your dream client, discover strategies to connect with them. So thinking about how we can build a relationship with them and what you can do on your social media, and then build a business that aligns with your vision. So hopefully you'll be back tomorrow. And on Friday will be all about getting visible and building your confidence. And then I'll talk to you also about my Cake Pro Academy. So feel free to come back. Yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Just double check there's no more questions. No problem. Right, see you all later.